Hey guys, it's MJ from All to Love. How are you? I want to talk about the insight of how it never ends, this life experience, and why it can be quite trippy to start to reverse, the way we were taught to perceive this reality, and then you start to reverse it, integrate it, and choose your perceptions basically more consciously. And what never ceases to like amaze me or just like astound my experience is how much we're programmed to like believe or think that like once we achieve certain things we will have arrived, i.e. we're done. And I know everyone talks about this, but it's different when we start to have the tangible in the present moment experience of this as the truth, i.e. like instead of always chasing some external goal, we anchor our heart field into the present moment and we live fully in the present moment. And when we're living fully in the present moment, it never ends. Because in the chasing linearity perspective or limited perspective of fear and separation, we're basically always chasing ourselves because we're disconnected. We're looking for that connection point, right? And of course, it always eludes us. It's never out there for us to find because it's already in us, i.e. like the only way is in. But then what I've increasingly been experiencing is that like the real joy and like the juice of life is always here now. And like I know we always go and we talk about this, but I'm increasingly amazed at how like practicing this stuff is and being present with it and like owning our shit and being vulnerable and being real and being honest and like helping one another and like addressing our emotions versus like what is the intuitive knowing versus our own projection. It's just all so subtle and so like mind-blowingly awesome and kind of intense as well. And I think that's often like what I'm traversing with as much compassion as possible, but at the same time this weird angle of discernment and taking no shit either. Hi John, how are you, my friend? And like basically it just is like being able to enjoy life, like not taking on the density and the responsibility of other anymore, being a lot more discerning about underlying emotional abuse patterns, but with a compassionate awareness that the majority of people are essentially indoctrinated to be arrogant and narcissistic, because it's all about them getting ahead and them making their point and them whatever, right? And so we have this weird paradigm of like not caring about how our actions affect people. We don't consider other people's feelings. And then when people do have feelings, we're like, oh, why are you having feelings? And in essence, when we live in a culture where people are disconnected and or they refuse to be honest about what they feel, those of us who are mega honest and mega feely end up being abused by people. And I know a lot of people, like, they might hear something like this and be like, psh, you've not been abused. You're right. Like, I've not been hit by a man or a woman, and it wouldn't necessarily be obvious. What I'm talking about is a lot more subtle, and it's a lot more invisible. And more people, families, communities are starting to come undone because of these underlying issues in our culture, in our society. And yes, it's invisible, but you can see it in the way that our world politic is being outworked, in the obvious lack of compassion and lack of maturity in our modern political leadership. And also the fact that the entire veil around the economy and system is being lifted. It's being blown open. People are having spontaneous awakenings, whether the system likes it or not, whether leadership likes it or not. People are increasingly being pulled apart by the enslavement patterns and are increasingly turning to their awakening process, i.e. are answering the call, and that means in our own personal lives, stepping away from toxicity and stepping toward love. You know, letting ourselves peel back the walls around our heart and just saying, this is me, take it or leave it. And if people don't take it, they don't take it, you know, take it or leave it. Yeah, if they take it, they take it. If they leave it, they leave it. But when one stands in one's truth and integrity, one has no need for other in a codependent way. The need is simply as a co-creative reflection, a co-creative mirror of honoring the truth of that unity. And of course, it doesn't necessarily, this is weird, also part of the paradox of like, the stuff I talk about, oneness and unity and love, it doesn't mean everybody gets along. It doesn't mean that like, I often think of like Universal, like I think of the Marvels and the comic movies, Marvel comic movies, and I think about galactic wars and the things happening in the cosmos, and I'm like, guys, it's no different. And if anything, our own consciousness is expanding so that we can integrate our interdimensional or our kind of broader aspects. It's like there's more of us to what we were originally thought, and as we integrate and embody it, it's becoming more mind-blowing. And within that, though, we're integrating. So see how the paradox feels like it's getting bigger and bigger sometimes, because everything is increasingly more mind-blowing, but at the same time, like in my beingness, I feel more viscerally like connected to knowingness, but I'm super duper aware that it's just mine. Like I don't, but so like the more I know about the self, the less I have any desire to know other in regard to like control, manipulation, fixing, because it's just the joy of existing through the self. I'm also realizing that like I do believe at some point, yeah, I mean, it's just continual waves, isn't it, Fifth? Like, it's like, we'll have a plateau, and then, like, a bunch of shit will come through us, right? Karmic breakdown, karmic programming, like, really deep stuff. Hi, Chic and Fifth and John and Tina. I think Tina was there as well. Bonjour. Hi. So, yeah, it's like, it's all weird and paradoxical, and yet I think the more we share, the more we can make sense of it in a way that helps us process rather than denies the process and or limits it or stifles us. I know for a lot of us, we've felt really in the depths, like, and then I can just intuit that that's yet again to do with bigger mass awakenings happening in the collective, so that PowerPoints, I want to call them, so like PowerPoints on the Earth's field, those are now having to light up. So more and more of us are attracting more and more of us to light us up, so that we can be like, I want to say, call it kind of like a stronghold of energy in certain mass awakening areas. So I'm talking people in cities and people in areas where they're more surrounded by the totality. And so love you. So those beings being lit up who are in metropolises or big mass areas, but you're randomly gravitating to Alta Love or Fifth World or any of the channels that are kind of sharing this from the heart space, part of your awakening and being guided but weird knowing of like where you're meant to be is also it's like a divine placement. And I know it sounds weird, but like on an intuitive level, you know what you're meant to do, you know who you are. And so simply by activating your truth, you then start to permeate like ripples into the field. That's how I intuit it, because we're living the effects of those waves, but then we're outpouring those same energies in those same ways. So the kind of collective evolution, or like the evolution of our beingness via our sort of consciousness awareness, that is what's always happening behind the scenes all the time, whether we're conscious of it or not. And that was something always in my awareness from the early awakenings of the and this is why I'd always like noodle with people that had really like big egos, because I could just see it so obviously, and I was like, why do you care? Like, what are you trying to prove? And like, even though the world would have wanted me to believe that I should want that stuff, but my empathy could usually discern that it wasn't what it looked like, you know, even though other people were like, oh my god, this is so, and I would just be like, okay, I get, like, so again, that kind of different empathic perspective. Oh, girlfriend, I love you so much, Fifth, and I think this is why there's such a pull and desire to keep showing up and keep sharing, because the depths are so deep. And it's not like they're all our own. This is part of my awareness as an empath, that like the deeper we go, the deeper we assist in the mass healing and the mass awakening. But it requires us to have profound light-filled faith that we're going to come back, that we'll come out the other side, that this too shall pass, right? And that's it. And look, oh God, I love this community. You know, John and this community just sharing so much love. And like, I just literally had a mini vision of just circling, just holding a circle, just being around people when they're in those depths, you know? Oh, it's so like feeling alone. I know, chic. And respect for like those of us who are on our own, you know, we can be alone here. And at the same time, like, doing this deep, profound work and like knowing that you're not alone. You're not alone, you know? And oh God, it's so profound and beautiful to like hold space, to be here, to be loved and supported, to share that same love and support in all of our uniquenesses and all of our differences, and like to not be afraid anymore, and to know, and or to know how to break through those fears, right? To know how to shine our light through them. So yes, the time has come. Yes, like it's just so happening faster and faster. I feel now like we're sort of taking that final wave to the shore, you could say, after fucking storm after storm and drifting around in the ocean of the void and being pummeled around by waves and intensity, and like being pulled along some really fast fucking vortexual energetic waves, and then finally just like crashing down onto shore and be like, what is life? And then it never ends. So we've just sort of rebirthed, you know, we've gone from like a super icky destructive world, and then we've rebirthed a new one, or ridden a wave to a new layer of consciousness, which is the weird part of the paradox. So long as we're invested in proving ourselves in the 3D reality, we're never going to be able to evolve. Because even the idea, as totally divine, authentic human beings, even the idea of having to like prove the self is like, like, you don't have to prove yourself if you're a divine infinite being who is eternal and never ending. I'm like, it's like almost laughable from that perspective of like, well, how am I? And I'm like, you're a divine being. You belong to be here. That is all. in all of your junk and your lightness, and yeah, so much. And you know, from all of our limited past, or you know, from all of our limited creation to our beauty and our unlimitedness, you know. It's interesting, right? Because the entire idea of limitedness is just a construct in our mind, which then reminds us again of how powerful we are. Like, we created the illusion of limitation. We are all very badass. Fifth, fucking legend. Yes, this is true. You guys, I love you. I've got Katie staying, so I think I might go live later today with Katie if she's up for it. She might not be up for it, but yeah, I want to go live with her and just talk a little bit about some of our insights, and also some of our future collaborative endeavors, just to kind of keep you guys in the loop, because it's been a few months since she's been able to update the Alta Love community. and yeah, just share different things of where Katie's at, and share what we're doing, because maybe we'll go for a walk or like do something active and wholesome, right? So yeah, John, Fifth, Shikiki Libre, everybody else, I absolutely will say hi to Katie for you guys. And just have a really gorgeous day wherever you are in the world. Hey Roots, how are you, my friend? You guys, I always look forward to these chit chats. Nothing too deep or necessarily profound here, but there's a lot of love. Oh look, Chic, your heart love vibrashe match my purple top. Oh my goodness, it's amazing how connected we are. I really do feel like we should all be in some like headquarters, like broadcasting and sharing ideas, and like maybe that'll happen one day. Maybe we'll have these cool headquarters in different parts of the world that we all like travel around from, and like basically just create and share truth. Let us just like with that one, because so many of us have such similar you know, plans for what we want to do, and or vision, not even like plans like in 3D, but just like the truth of our heart's desire, which to me just means on the highest level, it's simply what we were here to do, what we were here to create, who we were here to be, and that literally everything in our desired manifestation is present for us. We just have to keep walking. We're still alive. Just keep going. Yeah. I love you guys. Yeah, I think I know what video you're talking about. I might have started watching it, like the one in the last 24 hours. So I'm definitely going to go back to that one, because I could feel it, like that I'm talking about Roots' video, the one of the more recent updates, but like you could feel that it was, that there was some depth and like some juice. So I'm going to go back to that one as well. But thanks you guys for being here. Thanks for everything you do. Wishing you a really epic and awesome Saturday. Yeah, and I just hope to just meet you one day and keep it all flowing and growing and evolving, and I love you guys. We're all pioneers, aren't we, of our own truth and this more harmonious planet, which increasingly sometimes I'm like, I forget that the other planet exists. Sometimes I forget that people are still like, oh no, it's the bottom line, you gotta make money. I'm like, pardon me? What are you talking about? Oh, that's old paradigm. Oh yeah, we don't operate like that no more. We did tip the scales. Look at that evil cackle, except